Hi there. This is just kind of a quick review for a lot of you, and some new information for those of you who are new joining our group. Um, I go into this a lot when I work with brand new students in Steno, and to alleviate any fears out there from working reporters and or teachers, coaches, mentors, I try desperately not to focus on theory, machines, how to practice, when to practice, what to practice, how, all of that, because the students can get that anywhere. What they cannot get anywhere is a clear protocol for calming your mind, your nervous system, for understanding why your brain thinks the way it does and why it often feels like it's working against you. How you can be riding along so beautifully and effortlessly, and all of a sudden, boom, a trigger hits you and you are gone. You have just lost 10 words. And neurologically, we can only hold 7 in our minds at a time. Proven. And so there are all kinds of questions about, is trailing good? Is staying on top of the words best? Can I get rid of dictating the words to myself in my mind? Um, I'm of the philosophy that if it works, do it more. And if it doesn't work for you now, put it aside. I always joke that when I'm looking at, no names here, when I'm looking at somebody's theory and I see a brief and I say, wow, that makes sense. I like that. I think I could do that. I could incorporate that. That goes into my work on it now pile. I'll look at some other briefs and I'll think, well, they kind of make sense, but that's kind of a stretch, and maybe someday, and they go into the someday pile. And then there's that big pile over there that is, I'm sorry, I wish I could write short, write faster, but that's probably not ever going to happen. And to be okay with that. Now, those piles may shift and change over time. Give yourself the luxury and the flexibility for that. But in the meantime, know that your brain learns by repetition, which is why we practice. Sometimes when I was going through school, I was like, I don't get it. I know if I practice, I'll get better. But what you're actually doing, get this, guys, you're exposing your brain and your hearing to combinations of words and phrases over and over again. And I thought, well, how can you've got to deliberately have some practice material to deliberately review certain phrases and combinations of words. Otherwise, it's kind of hit and miss. Am I ever going to hear that combination again? Oh, yeah, probably in the next 20 years of reporting. But to expose yourself to everything you can that is unusual, novel, different, unfamiliar to your brain. Because you can only write as fast as your brain can hear and understand what you're hearing. And so try to make it familiar. Your brain likes what's familiar, and it will keep you away from what's unfamiliar. And as you're writing along and you hear the word that's unfamiliar, your brain is going to lock up. If even for a nanosecond, it will slow you down. Best reporters, it will still slow you down. For some of us, before we know how to capture that ability to hang on, we will be totally just stopped in our tracks. And there are all kinds of ways to deal with unfamiliar words. Trust me when I say there is a part of your mind that, and I do use brain and mind interchangeably because who's figured out what is what yet? Tell me, please. But you will remember much more of the words that you dropped than you think you will. Perfect example is, I swear to you, back in 1978 when I took the California CSR for the first time, I'm writing along and all of a sudden I hear my brain saying, oh my God, you're getting it. And, to which I go, shh, stop it. Because now instead of a 4 voice, I have a 5 voice going on in my head. Try not to answer the voice with words like stop it, go away, leave me alone, I'm taking a test, because now you have 6 voices in the room. Come up with a nonverbal cue or some practice method of dropping that chatter away from you while you're reporting. So I'm writing along. Oh my God, you're getting it. And the next thing I hear is you drop something. That was the wrong ending. You messed that up. You might as well quit. You've already failed. So first of all, that thing can't add, because in what world is, dropped one, wrote it wrong, you got that, dropped a wrong ending. Okay, but I'm allowed 50. So where'd the rest of those errors go? And why won't you shut up and leave me alone? But here's the weird part. As I'm writing along, all of a sudden, and I swear to you, this is 43 years? No, more than that, 46 years, because I took the test 3 times before I passed it. So it was the first time, it was 1978. And I'm writing along, and all of a sudden the speaker said, and the squirrel ran across the parking lot into the bunker. I have remembered that sentence for, these past 4 decades. And my hands froze, and my brain said, "You've been in school for 4 years and you've never, ever written the word squirrel? It sounds like 2 syllables, but it's not really. It's probably one stroke. It's SKW," and it just started spelling things to me. And I freaked out. I don't know how much of that sentence I missed. I finally, what I call, recovered, because once your brain thinks, oh, I've lost this test anyway, then it relaxes and goes back to writing beautifully. It's just kind of magic. And through all of the squirrel fiasco in that test, I didn't pass, but I didn't pass by 5. 5. And it wasn't the squirrel that messed me up. I could have messed up the squirrel and dropped and kept going and still passed that test. I had 7 errors that were this and that. Yeah. And I share that with you because when you're transcribing, and transcribing is magic, it will clean up your notes. It will make you better at reading through your own garbage. And trust me, I don't care how many people tell you you've got to practice until you write perfectly. There is no perfect. You want to be able to write through your own stuff, to read through your own stuff, because as somebody brilliantly explained to me, and it was a neurosurgeon, if you asked, we sat there having coffee and I was trying to explain to him how the tests work. If you're working at 100 words a minute, trying to pass 100 words a minute, and you're practicing at 120 or 140, your 120 and 140 is going to be fraught with slop, with imperfect strokes, with what some people call garbage. And he said to me, but that's the same garbage that your brain will come up with, and everybody's brain does it differently. When you're at 200, practicing at 225 and 240 and 260, and your notes fall apart and they shatter and they become garbage. He says it is basically the same garbage. Your brain will still be attempting to write the same strokes and missing them the same way, no matter what speed you're writing at. And so if we're out in the field and we're certified at 225, and we come across an attorney who's having a conniption fit in his brain or hers and cannot keep it under 250, you're going to be hanging on for dear life, and a lot of your notes are not going to be perfect. And that's okay. As long as you've practiced reading through your garbage and you hang on for dear life, you get something for everything, and stop when you need to, but you will be okay. And that all of the practice that you've done in all of your lifetime, including every job you've ever taken out in the field working reporters, that's still downloading new combinations of words, which is why over a period of time our writing gets better, our translation gets better, we get calmer, and we relax, because we have now more of the words downloaded in various combinations to fall back on. Our brain relaxes about it because it knows that stuff is in there. So your practice is not necessarily to become perfect. A lot of your practice is to download a gazillion, no, it's not a word, ways to write everything. And even for those of you who brief everything, being able to write anything out in a moment of necessity without hesitation will save your bacon. And I hated my theory. I hated my school that I started with, because they made us write everything out. There were no briefs, there were no phrases. In fact, there was a black market list of words, briefs and phrases that you could buy, as long as you didn't tell anybody. But it wasn't until 160 that we were allowed to use briefs and phrases. Their thinking was if you write everything out phonetically, you get something for everything. Then when you get into 160 and start incorporating all of the briefs and phrases, you're just going to fly out of school. I guess it happened for some people. I don't know. But my theory started off with no long vowels. I was the last class at the Academy of Stenographic Arts in San Francisco to learn a theory with no long vowels. The week after that, which was in June of 1974, they incorporated a new theory that included long and various vowels. So I wrote everything out, and I was used to writing, 6 strokes a second for a long time. And your brain learns by repetition, and it likes what's familiar. And so those kinds of techniques, I want to call it habit, are hard to break. They're hard to change. And so, but when I realized everybody was coming in with long vowels, I thought, fear of missing out. I want to know what they're learning, because they obviously have something new and improved and it's better. So I jumped right on board trying to learn what they were learning without actually being in that class. And kind of from that moment on, realizing, okay, you're like treading water by yourself in the ocean, and there's no dinghy around, and frankly, there's no boat. There's just you, Carrie, just you. And if you can read it, then it works. If it doesn't conflict with anything else, then it works. If it works quickly, automatically for you, then it works until something works better. Always be open to something working better. But in the meantime, really champion who you are, where you are, what you have, and double down on that. Don't be looking for, he must be doing something different. She must have a different advantage, and that's why they're getting out of school faster. You don't, first of all, don't know what anybody else's story or backdrop is. You know yours. And you may even not know the weird intricacies that are holding you back, that are not holding other people back. They have different ones. The things that are resistant within you when you say to yourself, the affirmations that everybody, and I do not believe in affirmations, I'll tell you why, but when you're trying to do the affirmations every day, I am a court reporter, I am certified, I am making a whole lot of money, and there's a little part of your brain that's going, I don't think so. Not yet. Maybe in another lifetime. Maybe after another 2 years of torture in school, you will deserve to be out there doing that thing you see everybody else doing. If there's one tiny shred of resistance within you, your belief in that affirmation will not go on board. And so I'm going to do another quick video within the next couple of days about the power of 3. And between now and then, I want you to come up with 2. Come up with 2 affirmations that you could say to yourself that you may or may not believe. And then when I do my video, we will add number 3, because number 3 is the one that always goes in. And we can get around the ones that you don't believe. But just purely, these are called affirmations also, but affirmations to affirm what it is that you believe is fine as long as you believe it. But you also can't say something like, I'm going to be a court reporter someday. That's a great affirmation if you don't ever want to be one, because what you're telling your brain is you're going to be. Someday, not today, probably not tomorrow, someday, you're going to be. So that you're always pushing off that new thing into the future. You're always going to be, which is why, yes, being able to say I am is much more powerful. But to say I am in a way that it gets into your brain is even more powerful, because it actually works. So have a protocol, have something that is a daily routine that you can honor and commit to, that you can show up for. Don't overwhelm yourself, make it reasonable, but come up with a protocol, a sequence of steps that you're going to use every single day, and that's what you're going to do, and your brain will get used to it. It gets into that rhythm. It gets into, oh, we're doing the finger drills, we don't like those. Don't ever start with the easy ones. Don't ever, I think it was Molly Cooper who told me this, don't ever practice the easy stuff. If it's really easy, is not going to make you better. Practice the stuff that challenges you until it doesn't, and then move on to the next stuff. I love that. And yes, Molly, I am planning on doing a video on the Molly method, because although I don't know it entirely, I know the things you did in there that worked, that got you out of school, passed the qualifiers, certified in the state of California, all within, did I get it right, 1 year, 1 month, and 13 days? Yeah. You can accomplish what you tell your brain you expect to have happen. Because face it, in daily life, good, bad, or indifferent, the things that we kind of think are going to happen usually do. So was it Henry Ford who said, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. I love this stuff. You guys have a great day. Take care. Come up with a protocol. If you have trouble, get a hold of me. It's kind of what I do. We do strategy calls here for free still with students. It's part of just, where are you? What are you doing? What's working? What's not? Here's what I have available for you. I do not do regular hypnosis one-on-ones with every student, because I don't think you need it. And I'm not going to pull out the big guns until we need them. But there's all kinds of other things you can do on a conscious level, on a self-hypnosis level. There are lots of recordings that I offer to you guys because they're just freaking helpful. They will relax your mind into a place where you're able to accept new neural pathway ways of thought, that it is possible. And I can do it. And I am doing it. And I see where I'm going, which for right now, trust me, stop thinking about the next speed, the next test as being your next goal. That's way too little. We want your goal to be, I'm out, I have whatever certification I need to work in what geographic area I'm in, I'm making money. I'm doing the thing that got me excited about doing the thing that told me I had to go to school to be able to do the thing. From here to all the way out there. All the way out there, not these little steps in the middle. If you focus on out there is where I'm going, you will show up and do the work. You will sequentially do the things you have to do in the time when it's right for you, meaning, do you have the skills? Do you have the automatic reflexes? Do you have the speed? Do you have the accuracy? Do you have the belief in yourself that it's okay to pass the test and it's okay to go to the next step? Those are all the things that we work on here. They're the things that I discovered, that I love, that I wish, oh my God, if I had known that when I was going to school, I would have been one of those people out in 24 to 36 months and working. Instead of June of 1974 to November of 1979 before I did a working, paying job as a reporter, certified in the state of California. Doesn't have to take that long. Love you guys. Have a great day, and I will, like it or not, talk to you later.